Thank you very much. A huge bombshell this morning in the involuntary manslaughter trial of Michael Jackson's doctor.
An about-face and a change of direction for Dr. Conrad Murray's defense team. Our eyes in the courtroom.
Before the jury came in this
Brandi
morning,
Hitt.
we heard from the defense that it is no longer going to pursue the idea that Michael Jackson swallowed propofol on his own. The defense claims that hasn't made that inference to the jury just yet, and it doesn't plan to in the future. And the reason being, there's a study that came out that showed ingesting propofol by swallowing it just has no adverse effects to the body. Now, also today, to take the stand, there was a pretty important witness. It's a cardiologist who used to work for the California Medical Board, and he says that propofol being used for sleep is not only untested, it's unethical. In fact, he says Dr. Conrad Murray was negligent in 6 different areas of standard of care. Take a listen.
He should never have given propofol in the first place. He didn't have the guy monitored. He wasn't ready for an emergency, didn't have an emergency plan. He didn't respond to the arrest in an appropriate manner. He delayed calling 911, and if you put all those together, yes, he's responsible.
That cardiologist also said Dr. Murray did chest compressions, which was counterproductive, and that he couldn't believe that Dr. Murray didn't have any medical records for Michael Jackson. During his testimony, the Jackson family was in court, and many of them were nodding their heads as the jury was taking notes. We'll have more of that testimony coming up for you tonight on the KTLA News at 6 o'clock. In downtown Los Angeles, Brandi Hitt, KTLA 5 News.
Dr. Conrad Murray's competency in caring for Michael Jackson was blasted today during his involuntary manslaughter trial. This time, the damaging testimony came from an evaluator for the California Medical Board. KTLA's Brandi Hitt with more on day 11.
Michael Jackson could have been saved. That is according to the prosecution's medical expert, who testified that everything Dr. Conrad Murray did was wrong.
It is untested, unethical.
Dr. Alon Steinberg, a cardiologist and evaluator for the California Medical Board, says he would label Dr. Conrad Murray's actions the day Michael Jackson died gross negligence.
You never leave their side, especially after giving propofol. It's like leaving a baby that's sleeping on your kitchen countertop.
Based on Murray's police interview, he says he found 6 standard of care violations. Murray used propofol to treat insomnia, did not have appropriate medical equipment, was not prepared for complications, and reacted incorrectly when Jackson stopped breathing.
Instead of using the bag mask to get oxygen in him, he started doing chest compressions, which is counterproductive on a heart that's already working.
Murray also did not call 911 right away and didn't keep medical records with written consent.
You specifically know anything about Michael Jackson's propensities towards drugs?
I know I'm giving you informed consent to an addict, to someone who really wants to drug, that they may agree to it no matter what. Is that your question?
Yes.
Then I wouldn't be offering it to the person in the first place.
Murray's defense will soon present its case and gave this promise on day 1.
The evidence will show you that the delivery of that propofol was through Michael Jackson himself.
But in a morning meeting you and the jury did not see, Murray's attorneys told the judge they will not attempt to show Jackson drank the propofol, a theory that was circulated before this trial began.
Now, the reason for all this, a study was presented that said ingesting propofol has no adverse effects. So now the defense must prove that Michael Jackson gave himself this dose another way. In downtown Los Angeles, Brandi Hitt, KTLA 5 News.
Stay with